I'm going to bring the country together. I'm going to bring it together.
Former President Donald Trump was criticized for mocking people who stutter, specifically President Joe Biden. The 4 times indicted presumptive Republican nominee was not happy with Joe Biden's fairly energetic State of the Union speech and decided to poke fun at him for a stutter. MAGA chuds enjoyed it because they like it when Trump mocks people with speech impediments and even disabilities. For example, remember when Trump mocked that disabled Washington Post reporter? Average Farm remembers. Pretty gross, but once again, we're talking about gross, par for the course for Donald Trump. This is not the first time he or his allies mocked Joe Biden, and by extension, everyone who has a speech impediment. In fact, back in 2020, Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura, now the newly installed co-chair of the Republican National Committee, so, you know, there's a little bit of nepotism for your day, insisted she wasn't referring to Biden's stutter when she said of the then Democratic hopeful, "I'm supposed to want him to fail at every turn, but every time he comes on stage, or they turn to him, I'm like, Joe, can you get it out? Let's get the words out, Joe. You kind of feel bad for him. The problem is that's their front runner, guys, okay?" Of course, that was more of like a striking a pity tone. Now Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, well, she went a little harder. In fact, she had posted. So yeah, she apologized and deleted that post because this is in very poor taste. Pretty much like everything Sarah Huckabee Sanders does, it's poor taste. Poor taste. Lowest of the low. Okay, so when you can't attack people's ideas because those ideas are more popular than your ideas, you end up attacking people's immutable characteristics. Okay, and you know who does that? Angry children. These are the people that are like, "I hate your face." Well, that's not an argument. When you mock people over their stutter, it's gross. And there's a lot of things you can criticize Joe Biden for, and I have, but this ain't it. This ain't it, folks. But it shows you Donald Trump's mentality. It shows you the mentality of the people who cheer on these kinds of attacks. And it's not a good one, okay? So now people reacted to this. One person says, as a speech therapist and frankly, as just a decent human being, this makes me sick. It should. Another said, Donald Trump is not just the most despicable person to ever be president. He's one of the most despicable people to ever be an American. Hashtag classy. Another one says, I'm appalled at Trump mocking Biden's stutter and by those who found it hilarious. I spent 2 years unable to speak coherently due to radiation. It was the most profoundly humiliating experience. I fought so hard to get my speech back. The cruelty of this man knows no bounds. Like I said, it's not just attacking Biden, it's attacking people who have a speech impediment or even a disability. In fact, another person says, who's more effing disgusting, Trump for making fun of people who stutter or the cultists laughing with him over it? And another said, you have to be a sad effing person to mock people with disabilities. Now, there might be an argument, some might engage in an argument like, having a stutter is not a disability. Is it? If it's bad enough, yeah. It absolutely is. Again, if you have a stutter that is bad enough to impact your ability to clearly communicate with other people, then yes, it can make it very, very difficult to first land and then hold onto a job, which absolutely makes it a disability. Now, in the case of Joe Biden, it's not. It's not that bad, okay? But the most common form of stuttering, called childhood onset fluency disorder, is the result of a neurological disorder from an underlying brain abnormality. Which again, can be, yes, you can treat it with speech therapy, you can do these things, but it doesn't always work. There will always, in some cases, be issues. Some people will have it more severely than others. And when it gets to a severe point where it impacts your daily life, then yes, it absolutely is considered a disability. And there's a lot of children that end up dealing with it, and a lot of children that end up getting mocked for it. So when you do mock someone's stutter, remember that you are also mocking children. Kids, who have a hard time speaking. Okay? So just keep that in mind when you see Trump or anyone else mocking someone for their stutter.